They control the glass.
Courtesy of Pickering, all for this one. And Milwaukee looking at who they got. Parker is at the 3 with Maker at the 4. The 5. Here's Maker. And the All-Star break. A lot of news about the trade deadline. We haven't seen the stars still over the past few years. Why is it so hard to call?
How hard is it to find the star? It's hard. Really, it's hard. So you got one of them very reluctant to give one up, especially if you're a young player that's still got potential. You think that he's going to be the reason why other players come and play with your franchise. So along with salary cap moves, the way that they change through the years, very difficult to see stars on the move come to trade deadline.
And the dunk by Parker.
Gotta love the effort there. An undersized 4 who can make things happen with that ability.
And that one's good, Anthony. For Milwaukee, they've 1 of 3 from the field to start this one.
And have to defend better in the paint. It's set up way too deep.
Well, he's going to punish you down there if you're not more physical than he is. Look for them to go back to that play.
And with the slam.
Flying high and throwing it down with the one hand.
What a favorite move right there, guys. Some incredible players that put on the jersey for the Bucks. Their story is
well, I'll name 3, Kevin. First, Jack Sigma. Second, Sidney Monty. And third, Terry Thomas. Those are some of the more incredible offensive teams do not get enough credit.
Bounds, Oklahoma City able to retain possession.
Yeah, tremendous hustle just to get a hand on that.
Anticipation, reads the ball. So close to the steal.
Antetokounmpo pulls it in. Milwaukee's gone 1 of 2 from long range in the first half. Pass to Wilson. Back to Antetokounmpo. Slam dunk by Antetokounmpo.
Beautiful reverse jam right there.
Use the rim to protect the ball. And it's George finishing it off.
To the lane, you got to tip your hat.
Well said, Greg. Regardless of reach and elevation. Now here's Kubo. He averages over 7 points. It seems to always find a way to score. Just 4 to shoot. Misses. Oklahoma City. It's all about Kubo. Back to Parker. It's stolen by Adams. Westbrook again. Antetokounmpo. Westbrook. The shot comes out.
Seem to be shooting it with confidence, and the shots are going all over the place in this period.
Drops, and it comes off assist from Parker. For Oklahoma City, they've got the ball for them here. It's Westbrook with the try. That one goes in.
And where's the hell? Obviously, a missed rotation. When they're going to one.
Well, you have to be able to trust the defensive end of the floor. Otherwise, the whole thing is just going to crumble.
Outside Wilson. Out to Parker. Lots of room. No good off the back of the rim. From Oklahoma City, they've gone 4 for 9 from the field to start the game. Here's Adams. And they're unable to get the time necessary.
His shot just doesn't seem to be synced up. I was hoping he finds it soon because his team is really good.
Now here's
Oh, yeah, not a penny, not a manny, but face.
a bounce to the ounce, Greg. Yeah, showing off. Here's Adams. Over Wilson. And he could not get that one to go. On contact. And he'll go to the line.
He has been all over.
Oklahoma City, they shot just one free throw early for one of the game. Inside. Westbrook with the steal. Here's Short. And Short with the steal.
And how much do you love to see a guy with the steal and the nerve to pull off?
You know, Greg, if it was any other player, it might be surprising. But he is just so good. And it goes on the ground. Tom Anthony. Stolen away. Now it's good. At the end of one, a closely contested game. Second quarter getting underway. No team. And the Bucks with possession here. The last encounter was in Oklahoma City.
Was given.
They capitalized on so many opportunities. The offense tonight was extremely good.
On the board for the Bucks. Tom Zeller out there with Tony Snell. Then there's Bledsoe. Then there's Green. And it's still Porter in the two.
That's a gorgeous assist. Outstanding at finding his guys in the spots where they want the basketball.
Here's Zeller. Three off the mark. Under with the lead. Brett, when he heard Donovan on the sideline, big opponent. He certainly gets the most out of his players from the start to the end of the bench.
Taking the job. I went to the UCLA campus where most of the roster for the Oklahoma City team, and he started to establish that trust in the offseason, being workouts, understanding the personality of his team, and getting to know his guys. All of those things have reaped some incredible rewards in the early part of Billy Donovan's coaching career.
Should continue to get the ball inside. The defense struggling to contain it.
No good from Bledsoe. For Oklahoma City, they shooting the ball here in the second. Outside. It's a nice passing by Oklahoma City. His shot is off. They got only one of their first 4 shots in the second quarter. Bledsoe again. Zeller. Oklahoma City will go with it the other way. In this game, they hit the road to challenge the Suns in Phoenix. And that was the first of a 2-game road trip for them. Grant takes with Anderson. Uses the glass that time, and it's good. Pattinson's for this quarter.
That's good passing down low. Close.
And he's trying to get them back into it. But the results
Pattinson's got 6.
timely passing leads to assist. That's the recipe for success.
Shot by Zeller, no good.
With his effort, he's been very limited due to his poor shooting.
Really no idea why you found
between the city of Houston and the Berryfield.
I've asked him that same question in Houston. I even talked to Corey about putting a buried graveyard across the street. It is that all three of us are here, and then I'd love to see a tombstone over there with Rick, John, and Brett. Maybe we'll add a few more to it, Kevin.
Career standard in the league. But that was an interesting stuff that you all were there one time.
It's crazy that we all ended in Houston. 3 careers ending for one of these. Weird.
And a bit of a bittersweet question for you. You knew these guys for many years with the Sonics who eventually became the Thunder team. How badly would you like to see Seattle, the basketball team, again?
I think it's the NBA's mission to get back to Seattle under Adam Silver. It's about the return to the Emerald City, and I think it's going to happen. There, I do miss the PNW. That's the Pacific Northwest.
Just like here's Wilson. Great assist by Alvin as that one goes in.
and have to defend better. Just let it wait.
He's going to push you down there. If you're not physical than he is, and look for them to go right back to that one.
Henderson, that's good. Henderson's got the lead back up to 7 now for the Thunder. Maker gets
I mean, I like the call. I thought the defense was just there a little late.
Milwaukee shooting their first free throws of the game.
And as a unit, they're shooting 78%. It's a solid number to work with on the season.
This OKC team is one of the best in the league when it comes to getting themselves to the free throw line. With the sheer force of Russell Westbrook, who draws a ton of fouls, but there's a few other guys who get to work on the inside and find their way
To Wilson. And ball penetrated. Beautiful reverse layup. On to Kubo's guy.
I mean, that's a great touch and feel around the basket. He made that look easy.
Wilson. Pass for Milwaukee. On to Kubo.
Oh, God, what the fuck, y'all? God damn. You just went out of bounds for it, huh?
They're a strong team to get points.
see how much of it has in terms of free throw attempts and their way into postseason play. Westbrook inside and Adams around the rim. The guy is capable of so many things on the offense. He's got a huge advantage.
Grant gets the Anderson. 11 feet away. Another shot. He waves it in. Grant's got 4 this quarter.
What happened? To block out.
Defensive rebounding just as important as causing the miss in the first place.
Shooting at 52% from the field. They're clicking. They're with Anthem and George in the small forward spot. And Billy Donovan's 5 as we get going in the second half. Guys, we're not through the 3 quarters of play, but 6 lead changes already in this one.
Yeah, competitive, and I think we all can agree that the type of game.
Back to Wilson. Gray. Rebounded by Oklahoma City. And that is good rebound on the night. Westbrook to Adams. Rebounded by the Bucks. This game coming after a loss against the Pistons.
And no matter how well you play, poorly, it's going to be a very difficult challenge for you to get a win.
Yeah, almost impossible, really. It was one of those games where almost everyone on the roster had that off night, inside and out. Ice cold.
The other clock to Booker. And they turn over the 24-second buzzer.
Yeah, not sure, maybe the pressure of the moment got to him there. Really careless error that might ultimately cost the team.
Westbrook. Wilson with the ball. They get it back. And Westbrook gets it to go.
They finally got one to go. Still need more opportunities.
Middleton the pass to Wilson. Puts up a 3. Westbrook takes it. The pass to Ferguson. Shoots the 3. So Westbrook comes up with 6. Westbrook's got 3 assists now in this one. Parker. And the dunk.
And that's the kind of lead pass we've come to expect.
Here's Westbrook. Adams. The rebound by the Bucks. Wilson's got his 4th rebound in this one. And that goes out of bounds.
That's just not a good pass. I don't know what he's thinking there. A poor decision.
Thunder gone 2-6 for the field here in the third. In the corner, George with and a throwing swap here for Milwaukee. Not quite 2.5 minutes played here in the second. 4 on the shot clock. It's deflected. Here's Kilpatrick. He dishes it to Brown. That's the arc. And Taylor Zeller on the ball. Assist by Brown. Zeller's got 5. Either side has a bit back and forth the field.
You can see the energy in the building. This is was having a finish.
Milwaukee in the lead.
Get the feeling that Milwaukee draft, what they found is the biggest this team has had since Michael.
Bledsoe kicks to Zeller. Bledsoe, that one goes in.
Love to see it when he pulls up from the outside. A big guy with tremendous range is a prized commodity in today's NBA.
Westbrook, no good. Direct to the ball. The team knows they need to build a Giannis up combo, as he was a once-in-a-lifetime talent.
Well, the front office does have an idea of just how good Giannis is right now, but what he can be, and it'll be interesting how they decide to construct the roster. A lot of these guys are versatile and very, very long, and so that's problematic for the teams that are going to play against. The development has to come from within. It could make a long playoff run if it does.
And Patterson drops him. Well, one thing the Thunder have always done well is control the glass.
Well, the Thunder, they get down near the top of both offensive and defensive rebounds, and it certainly helps when Russell Westbrook is turning down over 10 boards a game.
dropping in off the front of the rim. Ziller's got 8 points in the quarter.
Wow, has he flipped the switch at halftime? Much more effective.
Grant gets to Patterson.
Oh my God, dog. God damn. Oh, man. God, he had the ball, man. Fuck, man.
So he picks up just 1 from the line that time. And we just we got we welcome you back into the fifth quarter as we get into the fourth quarter. Oklahoma City trailing on the board for Milwaukee. Tony Snell is out. Zeller. That is Brown. It's Phil. Here's Patterson to tie it up. Patterson's got the first one to get going in the fourth. Zeller uptown. And it's Bledsoe off the drive. He plays for 3. Bledsoe. And Bledsoe with the extra effort. And the Bucks lead by 2.
It's a nice tip, and you can't leave him alone on the offense. Find a way to get to the ball.
And you know what? Same was likely to be a dunk.
Look up and down this Bucks roster, and you have to do it. Up and down and over, side to side. So much length with this team. Giannis is certainly the biggest name with the biggest wingspan. Guys like Thon Maker and Tony Snell defensively got great reach as well.
Catching up on the changes for Oklahoma City. And he's checking for Patterson. Anthony comes in for Houston. George from Sigler. And Ferguson subbed in for Alex Freeman. And the Milwaukee is down his 2 points in the bucket.
He has that ability, trying to close this one out.
Well, beating one guy is one thing, but beating 5, heck of a job there. Got the talent to finish, too.
And Brett, it seems like the Bucks are always adding length to their team.
Well, when most teams have smaller with their lineups, Milwaukee very experienced has collected a lot of long players that they can go out and do a multitude of things to make their roster a little bit more futuristic.
Goes up and bound. Bob Anthony. Russell Westbrook in for Oklahoma City. Roughing for about 2 minutes into the fourth quarter now. Outside. And he tries. Off the glass, but it's no good. They're trailing by 7. Adam dishes to goal. Oklahoma City moving it around. And slam.
To see a player who works that hard on the glass.
Well said, G. That's the way he has built his reputation.
defense wisely avoiding fouling the shooter. Give up personal there. Made him attempt to do it.
By Wilson.
Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, difficulty, that's an 11.
Westbrook with it.
Absolutely fearless. I mean, a nice against the rim.
This is the feel of a player to use his body to keep the shot from being blocked. Excellent.
And they were always very efficient.
I think they have been winning the battle of shot selection here in the second. It's led to an excellent shooting percentage from field.
And the whistle blows. It's going to be on Chris Middleton. That is his first foul of the game. Kumbo again. Westbrook. Outside for George. Westbrook passes to Adams. And Adams with a slam.
I mean, if the defender is going to put it on like that, you know what's going to happen. There are going to be points on the board.
Passes to Wilson. There's the triple. He's in. That's his fifth field goal. He shot 5 for 7.
Run that through tape. I ain't ready. I was doing some shit.
I'm a retarded person. Got your ass buzzed by retarded. Give me that shit, nigga. Bum ass nigga, dog. His ass bust, nigga. Look at this. Oh, man, nigga, some shit.
For Brent Berry, Greg Anthony, and David Alton, this is Kevin Alton along with our...
could do that. We could point to that. But I'm looking at J.R. Smith, shoot 39% from the field, averaging eight points a game as a starting shooting guard. And then you got the audacity to throw soup, according to the reports, at an assistant coach. He's lucky he got suspended for just one game. He's lucky it's not long. He needs to wake the hell up and start showing up and playing the way that he's capable of playing, instead of wearing his emotions on his damn sleeve all the time. J.R. Smith needs to step up instead of having folks like myself asking who shot J.R. from the old Dallas sitcom, okay? This guy's got to step up and start getting it done and acting like a starting guard in the NBA. As for the other pieces, you're going to have nights where you flow, nights where you don't flow. But if LeBron James is LeBron James, they'll figure it out, and they'll be ready in a month.
Here's the problem. Don't disagree with anything you just said. In a short series, LeBron can take a bunch of role players and rotation pieces and overachieve with them. We saw this when he lost Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving, when his second best player that series was Matthew Dellavedova, and he took a loaded Warriors team 6 games basically by himself. Yeah. Right. That was amazing. Here's the problem, Stephen A. Given the construction of the roster, given the roster as it currently is constructed, he's going to have to do that in multiple series in the East. Now, let's say he has to play the Raptors and the Celtics. In whatever order. One of those teams, maybe, he can bring this crew and get them past a tough Eastern Conference challenge. He's going to then have to do it again. You know, it's not just one short series, it's going to be 2, and that's just to get to the finals. Again, he's doing it with one all-star on the team, and no one, maybe one of those other guys could start. If you want to say 2 of them can, fine, but now you need a third all-star. But 3 guys are going to have to start where really none of them are quite that caliber. That's asking an awful lot against a vastly improved Toronto team and a Celtics team who we all know is capable of hanging around even when the defense is a little more porous than you'd like. And then Kyrie, we know he's a closer, can take things into his own hands at the end. You're going to have to get by Toronto maybe and Boston, or even just another kind of plucky Eastern Conference team. It's a lot to ask LeBron to do when, other than Kevin Love, all he has are rotation.
Yeah, and Stephen, I was trying to ask you that earlier. To that point, doesn't every game matter for him right now for the seeding to get through the East? Because it's going to be tough for the seeding.
Absolutely not. LeBron James has never been concerned about seedings, and there's no reason for him to be concerned about seedings now, because he's going to go. You can sit up there and make your face all you want to. I got 15 years of evidence to back up what I'm saying about his resume. He doesn't lose in the first round, and he doesn't care whether he's on the road or at home. These are facts, Molly. Facts. Now, here's the deal. That very player, that very postseason appearance that Max keeps alluding to, that's one of the biggest reasons why LeBron doesn't really have much to worry about. Here's why. Because LeBron James in that finals, going up against Golden State, even though they lost, everybody's not Golden State, and we know that. But he basically played with his back to the basket, doing what people had spent years imploring him to do. That is, use that massive Goliath frame of yours and be a man-child in the post. Play with your back to the basket. Get dudes down low. That might be a problem against Toronto with Valanciunas and Serge Ibaka down there. But against Boston, it's not going to be a problem. Not if he decided to do that. To a lesser degree against the Milwaukees of the world and others, it's not going to be a problem. So understand, he's not going to pull out his whole repertoire, his whole arsenal for a regular season game in March. LeBron knows exactly what he's doing, and the other players will fall suit, and hopefully JR will show up. I have no doubt Kevin Love's going to show up. They'll be fine.
That's why what you're saying is the reason push comes to shove right now. I'll still take them to get out of the East. But my level of concern is through the roof for this team right now. Because, as I said, it's not just that they got to get through one Eastern Conference team that maybe could upset them. There are going to be, almost no matter how it breaks, 2 of them.
I'll give you this.
LeBron's going to have to get a bunch of role players past 2 of them.
I'll give you this. If I see this in the playoffs for a couple of games, I'll be concerned then. I am not going to be concerned about it in March.
Fair enough. That'll do it. Coming up, gentlemen, Sean Miller spoke for the first time since the scandal broke last weekend. Jay Williams joins us to give us his take on him pleading innocent. And Remember that Texas Wesleyan baseball coach, Mike Jeffcoat? Yeah, who said he won't recruit players from Colorado? Well, we've got some news on how the school felt about it. We'll fill you in.
I'm not this way because I'm on camera. I'm on camera because I'm this way.
Glad you left this for me, Stephen A.
The dude all of a sudden started shooting like this.
We don't have a game anymore.
Mom, you're strong.
Oh, you bet I am. The Egg White Grill, so you can bring on the day.
Hey, Dad, what are you doing?
Kevin here says Mobile One annual protection is proven to protect for 20,000 miles.
It'll save you a lot of time.
And what do I always say about time?
You say there's not enough time in the day, and then you sigh loudly, and then you say your shins hurt. Hey, with all this extra time...
Sorry, buddy. Kevin and I have a tea time at 11. 20,000 miles between oil changes guaranteed. Mobile One annual protection.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when this guy got a flat tire in the middle of the night.
Hold on, Dad. Liberty did what?
Yeah, Liberty Mutual 24-hour roadside assistance helped him to fix his flat so he could get home safely.
My dad says our insurance doesn't have that. Don't worry, I know what a lug wrench is, Dad. Is this a lug wrench?
Maybe. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
In my experience, every successful racer needs a few things. Amazing reflexes, a great team, coordination, and oh yes, this.
I was just looking at getting an amazing iPhone 8. They have an all-glass design, advanced cameras, A11 Bionic chip.
I'm going to...
Yeah, now you're going to give your second phone to your new friend. Wow, Paul!
Now get one iPhone 8 and get a second one on us.
Life happens everywhere, like it never even happened, only happens here. The cleanup and restoration specialists at 1-800-SERVPRO and ServPro.com.
It was supposed to be a quick business trip.
I've been kidnapped! Can we call you back?
Now, it's every gringo for themselves.
Somebody's going down. What a crybaby.
Gringo, rated R. In theaters March 9th.
This cabin is great to celebrate and relax.
Please stop talking.
Okay, you took care of everything. How should I pay you back?
I told you, dude. Just pay me with the dough. It's probably in your bank app. It's fast as well.
You want money in minutes, huh?
It's a quick way to pay.
We can split a gift for the bride! Yeah!
Pass me a tissue. I think I'm gonna cry.
Please, stop talking.
Okay.
The new way to send money from your banking app, Zelle.
MLS is back, and everybody's ready to get down. Emerald City goes rave green against all-new LAFC. SKC Nation is set to go off when Bronx Blues bring it on. Will the City of Angels shine, or does Rose City got next? It's time for our soccer. Sunday on ESPN and FS1.
He's using...
When I say Italy, what comes to mind?
Venice. Capri. Oh my gosh, Capri was marvelous. The views, the cliffside views, or traveling to Sorrento.
Perillo Tours.
Perillo.
Hi, I'm Steve Perillo of Perillo Tours. With over 70 years of tour experience to Italy, it's no wonder Perillo Tours is synonymous with travel to Italy.
I think of the culture. I think of Perillo Tours taking me to all of the areas that were important to me.
The history, and to walk up to certain areas and touch a wall and think, well, this wall's like 3,000 years old.
Being on a Perillo tour on our anniversary was better than anything I can remember ever on an anniversary.
I personally approve every itinerary to ensure a stress-free, once-in-a-lifetime vacation.
Salute!
Call now for your free brochure and insider's guide. Call in the next 30 minutes and get this free $100 gift card. And don't forget to ask about Perillo's Hawaiian tours. Call 800-224-6106. 800-224-6106.
Let me help you get that Friday feeling. Tip up your weekend tonight with another Friday NBA doubleheader, 8 Eastern. The Raptors are in D.C. to take on the Wizards. Then the Timberwolves face the Jazz. Our coverage tips with NBA Countdown. Michelle, Jalen, and Chauncey at 7 on ESPN and ESPN app. Saturday, 8:15 p.m. Eastern. It's part 2 of college basketball's greatest rivalry, and it's a Sonic blockbuster. Again, number 9 North Carolina and number 5 Duke facing off, also streaming live on the ESPN app if you are out and about. Back to this interesting story. So yesterday we discussed how Texas Wesleyan University baseball coach Mike Jeffcoat sent an email to a high school prospect saying the school doesn't recruit players from the state of Colorado because of previous failed drug tests. So after we went off the air, news came down that Jeffcoat had been fired. The university president said the former MLB pitcher was dismissed for his remarks as well as the NAIA violations under his watch. So, Max, he's fired. Do you agree with that decision?
I do not. I think, and I was careful not to make an ad hominem attack and call him an idiot himself. But that piece of behavior out of him was idiotic. You know, it was abjectly moronic, every part of his letter. And I think the punishment for doing something like that is to be called out for it on national television. I handled that yesterday. I think that people in our clickbait outrage culture, people are very quick to call, and Stephen A., I know you did yesterday, but you, I know, take that into consideration and have carefully considered reasons before you do, and I'm sure you'll speak to them in a moment. But I think, and I'm not accusing you of being part of like the irrational electronic herd, right? But I think by and large, there's a kind of mob mentality where people take out the pitchforks and the torches and they want someone's head. And this is the way this man makes a living. He was a major leaguer for some years. He was a journeyman. He won as much as he lost. He's a league average-ish kind of guy, but he didn't make a fortune. He never made the big money in the major leagues. This is how Mike Jeffcoat makes a living. And for it to cost him his job before he has a chance to rectify the behavior. You know what would have been good punishment in this case, since he inserted his politics into it? And by the way, before I get to that, we also live in a time and a place where we are constantly bombarded with essentially entertainment venue outlets, because that's what a lot of the news is now, trying to rile us up, trying to stir our passions. And so many of us fall victim to that and want to say things we probably shouldn't publicly about the other side. So he accuses liberal politicians, whatever, even though I think that's also misguided thinking in this case about why weed is legal in Colorado, as Will Cain pointed out, who is conservative, incidentally. That was up for referendum in Colorado. The point is, the right kind of punishment is sensitivity training, particularly given the way Mike Jeffcoat's politics seem to lean. That would probably not only rankle him, but also serve him well in this case. The point is, there are many ways to address what happened. Firing this man, costing him his livelihood, I believe is an overreaction.
I did not call for this man to be fired. I called for him to be suspended. And I said there should be a meeting that's conducted to address whether or not he should be fired. Those are my exact words. Having said all of that, let me be clear. I have no problem with him being fired. Not even a little bit. He engaged in a flagrant act of discrimination. We have discrimination laws on the books. It's grounds for dismissal at various jobs in this nation. And you, as a college coach, would discriminate against a kid, no information on his background, nothing that said he had ever been in trouble according to his high school coach, nothing incriminating whatsoever. It was simply that he's from the state of Colorado, which has legalized recreational use of marijuana. And because of that alone, you said to him, we won't consider you, we're not considering anybody from that area, and you can thank your liberal politicians for that. That's grounds for dismissal. Now, let's be clear with this coach. You are a coach in Colorado. Let's be very, very clear about something. I'm sorry, Texas Wesleyan, I'm sorry. Let's be very clear about something here. That means you have to eliminate prospects from Alaska, California, Nevada, Massachusetts, Washington State, Washington, D.C., Maine may be next on the list. You got about 6 or 7 states already that have legalized recreational use of marijuana. He didn't even specify, the difference between recreational and one's use for medicinal purposes, because there's about 26 to 28 states that okay the use of marijuana for medicinal purposes. And he is saying blanketly, in writing, we won't even consider you because the liberal politicians have endorsed passing these laws, which, by the way, isn't true because it ain't just the liberals that have done it as well. So he's misinformed, all right? And he was ill-advised to say what he said. But more importantly, this same person that has now had his opportunity snatched from him is the same individual that was willing to deny an opportunity to a young kid on the come up with no incriminating evidence whatsoever as to whether he engaged in use of marijuana. You essentially was biased and stereotyped a state and all the citizens within that state as if this kid can control where he was born or where he presently resides. Like he gets to make that call. It's ridiculous. And so if you're willing to do that and to take that kind of position, you have no business being in a position where you're a leader of young men and determining the path of their future. When it's clear that your path is a bit convoluted your damn self.
You may be right, Stephen A., and I will say this. You also may be right that it is grounds for dismissal, but that doesn't mean the institution has to pull the trigger based on those grounds. And I also want to clarify, you did say you called for his suspension and review, basically, which is different than calling for someone's job. That's right. I want to be clear that that's exactly what happened on yesterday's program. But yes, whatever the grounds for dismissal, however legitimate they may be, I think an institution can show some discretion and some leniency, and also give someone an opportunity to correct behavior. Now, if behind closed doors they went to him and said, look, you can't do this anymore. You can't discriminate based on the state that someone comes from. First of all, it puts us at a competitive disadvantage, and secondly, keep your politics off our baseball team. And he said, to hell with you, I'm going to do what I want, then of course you have to get rid of him. But if that did not happen, if he was simply informed by the institution, you're out of here, without a chance to correct the behavior, I have a problem with that. People take, especially in this day and age, when the kind of mob rule of Twitter and social justice outrage, right? And you and I've been described as a social justice warrior on this program by some good friends of mine even in the media, Stephen A., and that's fine with me. But the idea that an unthinking mob can just kind of attach themselves, fix their attention on a single bad piece of behavior by someone and then call for his dismissal or make an institution so nervous that they dismiss him without giving him a chance to correct that piece of behavior, it's not a healthy place to be for us as a culture.
Fine, Max, but I think the statement that I'd like you to embrace and grasp is that I think your compassion is suitable for people who harm themselves, not people who harm others. This man was willing to blanketly discriminate against a high school kid with no compassion. With no compassion. Yeah. So why have compassion for him?
Well, I don't think an institution needs to lower themselves to the standards of an individual who should have behaved better in a given circumstance.
But wait a minute.
I think an institution can lead by example.
But I don't think they're lowering the standard. I think they're elevating the standard because what they're saying is we're moving somebody out who would think so low. And we're bringing in somebody that's of a higher thinking.
His behavior is indeed grounds, as you said, for dismissal. The acting upon those grounds without giving him a chance, if in fact they didn't have a conversation behind closed doors and he rejected that chance, is what I have a problem with.
It was ignorant, it was ludicrous, but I'd like Jeffco to come out with a statement, whether it's social media or he puts it out through the press and maybe explain him. Yeah, I'd like to explain himself. I'm not even saying to save his job, but if he wants to save his career moving forward.
Hold it. I just want to say something to you, Molly. This is the same Molly Wood. This is the same Molly Wood that religiously ends segments on this very show talking about how a little bit too late to the party. Yeah, you should have said this earlier, or you should have done that earlier. But now you're saying that's okay.
I'm not
okay.
no. Wait, time out. Not mincing words. I am not saying it's okay by any stretch of the imagination. I just want to hear from this guy. I want him to just come out and explain what...
I didn't say you said it was okay. I said you're acting as if he comes out with a statement that would make things better.
No, what I'm saying is he needs to talk if he ever wants a job again. All right, we're done. Coming up, is Lonzo Ball starting to live up to the hype? His coach thinks so. We'll see if Stephen A. is finally on board. Plus, the University of Arizona and their fans are standing by Sean Miller. Jay Will standing by for us. What's up, Jay? He's next. First take, keep it locked.
Whoa. Stop the presses.
He's not a winner.
What damn conversation did you have?
I don't know. Man,
I'm the elder statesman of this crew. All of you. Respect your elders. All of you.
Time to claim your spot. For your chance to win daily cash.
The Oscars. It's not a competition. It is? The correct envelope, please.
Jimmy Kimmel hosts the Oscars live Sunday on ABC.
So, from the two trucks over here, I want you to pick a new truck for your mom or dad, knowing that they could possibly pass it down to you one day.
Cool.
But before you decide, you should know that Chevy Silverados are the most dependable, longest-lasting, full-size pickups on the road, which means that Ford F-150s are not. Which truck would you pick?
The Chevy. The Chevy? The Chevy.
There you go. Boom.
That was obvious. Plus it looks cooler.
No doubt about it. Now they know what to get me.
Your life slips away from you. Relocating to another city becomes normal. But you still see your stalker everywhere? The door's locked.
You've been assessed as a danger to yourself and others.
This man followed me here from Boston.
We did a thorough background check. There's nothing we can do unless a crime's been committed.
I'm not crazy!
Rated R starts March 23rd.
Back in the day, our military relied on lighters like these. No good if the wind was too strong, and useless in wet conditions. But today, lighter technology has come a long way. Nick Bolton here with the new tactical lighter from Bell & Howell. Our tactical lighter doesn't use fluid or even a flame. Instead, it uses arc plasma technology to create a flameless igniting spark that even the strongest wind can't blow out, and even the wettest conditions can't extinguish. And yes, it can even survive being frozen in a block of ice, or getting boiled in 212-degree water. Because like all products in our tactical line, this lighter is built as tough as a tank. In fact, we're going to use a tank and put it to the test. But first, check out what this 60-ton monster does when it runs over something larger. Hope they got insurance. Now the tactical lighter. Okay, go! Now that's what I call military tough. In case you're wondering, here's what happened to a bunch of other lighters we tried. There's just nothing like it on the market today.
Act now, and through this special TV offer, you can get a tactical lighter for just $19.99. It's USB rechargeable and gives you more than 100 lights on a single charge. But wait, order today and you can get a second tactical lighter, plus our best-selling tack light. Just pay a separate fee. It's the famous flashlight that can survive being frozen in ice or run over by a Humvee. You get it all, and we'll even ship it all to you free. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-970-6290 or go to tritaclighter.com. That's 1-800-970-6290 or order online at tritaclighter.com.
Change is good. And with the new collection of vanities that are on trend and savings to keep you on budget, the Home Depot's putting the power of change in your hands. Start making changes now with vanities starting at just $129. Only at the Home Depot.
For a limited time, Wendy's Double Stack is just $1. A quarter pound of Wendy's fresh, never frozen beef and melty cheese, all for just $1. You may never see a deal this good again. So get a double stack for $1 from Wendy's today.
Coming up in hour number 2 of First Take, Sean Miller says he's completely innocent in the scandal that's rocked the University of Arizona. Jay Williams tells us if he should be believed. Plus, why did LeBron James seem so defensive when asked about rumors he was in Philadelphia over the All-Star break? Plus, Lonzo Ball's been looking pretty good lately. Am I finally sold on the eldest Ball brother? All that and more coming up in hour number 2 on First Take. Don't touch that dial.
This is SportsCenter right now. I'm Doug Kazarian. Quite the scene last night in Tucson. Thousands of Arizona fans with a standing ovation about 30 seconds long. Coach Sean Miller returning after missing the Wildcats' last game, all part of the FBI investigation and allegations surrounding Miller. Now, before Zona's win, Miller held a press conference during the day vehemently denying an ESPN report that detailed his alleged involvement in a discussion to pay a potential recruit. The Board of Regents also met yesterday behind closed doors, determining that the university would retain Miller, who maintains he has never paid a recruit.
I have never discussed with Christian Dawkins paying DeAndre Ayton to attend the University of Arizona. In fact, I never even met or spoke to Christian Dawkins until after DeAndre publicly announced that he was coming to our school. Any reporting to the contrary is inaccurate, false, and defamatory. I'm outraged by the media statements that have been made and the acceptance by many that these statements were true. There was no such conversation. I also want you to know that the one time that someone suggested to me paying a player to come to the University of Arizona, I did not agree to it. It never happened. And that player did not come to the University of Arizona.
Let's get some reaction from First Take.
Doug Kazarian, thank you kindly. So we finally heard from Arizona head coach Sean Miller yesterday, nearly a week after the publication of an ESPN report tying him to an alleged pay-for-play scheme. On that note, we bring Jay Will into the conversation, joining us now from North Carolina, Duke UNC. Tomorrow, college game day. Check him out, 11 a.m. Hi, Jay.
How you doing, Molly?
Excellent. I want to start with you. How do you think Miller came off yesterday?
You know, I've known Sean for a while. I've never known him personally. I've known of a lot of players that he has coached, and the differences he's made in people's lives as a coach. And he is a brilliant coach and a good recruiter. It came off interesting to me, and I can only speak about this from a personal term. If I were innocent at something, and I've had legal counsel for different things that have gone on in my life, if I were to sit down with my legal counsel after a claim came out like the one that came out from our own Mark Slabaugh, I would have came out initially right out of the gate and have said that I am innocent, that I have not had conversations with Christian Dawkins. I would have said everything he just said right out of the gate, a day or two afterwards. The timing of it, it's very weird to me that it takes 6 to 7 days to come out with an official statement. And also by reading the statement, reading it, and I'm curious to get your opinion on this, guys, because this is just me. When I hear the specificity used in a statement like this, where it says, let me be very, very clear. I've never discussed with Christian Dawkins paying DeAndre Ayton to attend the University of Arizona. Talking to some legal friends of mine, I would have not only said, I have not had conversations with Christian Dawkins, I would say I have not had conversations with Christian Dawkins or anyone, for that matter, about paying DeAndre Ayton to come to attend the University of Arizona. One thing that kind of bothers me about this whole thing, the way it looks aesthetically, when this story breaks, we have a lot of coaches that are coming out and saying, are you very surprised? The reason why we're pushing in this fashion is because Book Richardson is a coach, one of his longest tenured assistant coaches, who was indicted for bribery. That's why we're pushing in this direction. It continues to bother me that we always have these assistant African-American coaches that always have to end up falling on the sword. They're always the ones who are crooks. They're the ones who are bad. Aesthetically, that's a bad look for me, and I don't like that because all the assistant coaches I know, they know what's going on. And the head coaches, I'm not saying it pertains to this particular matter because I'm sure there are instances where head coaches do not know what assistant coaches are doing. But every head coach I've ever met in my life, I work with one every single day. Seth Greenberg knows everything about everything that goes on that we do. He asks us every single question all the time. Their attention to detail is off the charts. It just blows my mind that these big issues that arise, all of a sudden, I don't know anything about it. And it happens time after time, and it's plausible deniability, and everything moves on as far as business as usual. I'm not saying that pertains to Sean Miller. I'm just saying the overall, the way it seems, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, I get where you're coming from, Jay, in terms of what it seems, and let me tell America right here, you have my backing 1,000% on that subject that you brought up about black assistant coaches, because let me tell you something, Max. The black assistant coaches have to handle the dirty work. You have to remember, it sort of falls along the lines. You know how, Max, we have these discussions about how players should be compensated, right? You know, but the more players are compensated, the more empowered they are. The more empowered they are, the more coaches feel like they'll lose some power. So you limit what they can earn, you limit their paying potential, not to mention the fact that whatever activities that you have to engage in with them, the black assistant coach is brought on board to handle some of the minutia of it all, distancing the head coach rather from these situations. And the black assistant coaches have no choice, because if you aspire to be a head coach someday and you want to be a head coach, these are the kind of things that you're subjected to. People don't talk enough about that, and black coaches are being thrown under the bus every week because of stuff like this. So Jay is absolutely right. Getting back to Sean Miller, though, I will say this. Jay, at the start of the show, what I said was, I don't understand why it took him 5 full days to address the matter. I understand that a lawyer is going to advise you to say as little as possible, primarily because they want to first find out all the evidence that somebody has against you. But to me, that's a source of incrimination, because if you're worried about what they might have, that means you're worried about something that you did, which means you have to make sure you dotted your I's and crossed your T's before you tackled the issue head on, which might explain why it took 5 days. The only thing that I would like to add back is this. The Board of Regents, we hadn't heard from them. Because if it's me, Jay, what I'm thinking about is, I want to find out about those damn wiretaps. I want to hear from the FBI. It doesn't even have to be on the record. It could be off the record. But considering the big-time dollars that are associated with the NCAA and the big-time implications this could have on the overall sport, if an allegation is put out there that there are wiretaps from the FBI, then I don't understand for the life of me why somebody can't get some word from the FBI as to what they actually have. I would like to see that.
And F.A., can I just say this too? The FBI doesn't need to abide by our rules as far as it relates to when we have to tell. Like, the FBI is running their own train in this matter. I mean, they're going down their own path. They're going to continue to do what they're going to continue to do. But we only hear word from Mark Slaboff. That's it. So I'm with you. I like to have finalized word on this matter too. But the FBI is running their own investigation. They're doing it on their time.
I'd like to address the racial point, Jay, that you brought up. Stephen, you responded to, Stephen A., before I get into what I wanted to say. I think it was Bill Polian when we were discussing the Rooney Rule in the NFL, talking about, yes, it's great that that exists, but you also need a pipeline of talent to the head coaching position. So black assistant coaches are in a tough spot because you want African-American assistant coaches, right? Or you won't get African-American head coaches. But often they're the fall guy. And when you talk about the aesthetics of it or the optics of it, Jay, it reminds me of watching movies. I mean, until Sidney Poitier, but really even barely then, basically Denzel Washington. And a lot of white people weren't even aware of this. You went to the movies and you saw a black character, dude never made it to the end of the movie, did he? I mean, like, almost until Denzel Washington, guys, the black guy didn't make it to the end. He was going to have to fall on his sword one way or another, and because those characters were expendable until they began to be seen as potentially leading men. And that's another issue about African-American head coaches in major American team sports, probably for another day, but I'm glad you brought it up, Jay, because it's something I hadn't considered, but it's obviously a phenomenon that is taking place, and the optics at least conjure those kind of feelings. I want to say about the Arizona, about that program. Boy, if everyone's really shocked, and in fact, Sean is right, and Coach is right, and he did not ever, engage in any kind of activity where there's pay for play, and that doesn't happen in that institution. Boy, Arizona must be amazing. Why else or how else would they get top-notch talent to play there when we all know other institutions are paying? So you mean to tell me your place is so amazing, so mind-blowing, that a lot of top-notch talents who come from desperate situations oftentimes, whose families could use the money, they have bills to pay and food to buy. You know what? Even though these other institutions are also in great warm weather places and great coaches and even better winning traditions than Arizona, I'm going to go to Arizona, damn it, because, Coach, I like the cut of your jib. Boy, that must be some recruiting pitch they got over at Arizona, if no money's changing hands.
That's exactly the thing. So your longest tenured assistant coach, Richardson, gets indicted for bribery. So it's obvious and apparent it hasn't been this dream-like scenario for Arizona for a while, or your head assistant would not be doing stuff like that.
Clearly the system's broken.
Right.
Real quick, Jay, and then we have to let you go. I know you said you don't think players should boycott the tournament like Jalen Rose had suggested, but you thought the Final Four. Why do you think that's the better approach?
I just think when you have the attention of America at the Final Four, the illusion of even a boycott would force the NCAA to automatically come to the table. That is one of their highest grossing revenue opportunities that they have out of the entire year. That's when everybody showcases what college basketball is all about. If there's a time where you have the attention of the NCAA, it's probably during their biggest money grab of the year.
Appreciate you, Jay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
You can catch Jay and the College Game Day crew tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN from Cameron Indoor, getting ready for Duke, North Carolina tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on ESPN. Up next, reporters asked LeBron about the rumor he was in Philly over the All-Star break, and he was not pleased. Take a listen. We'll react after the break.
Did you go to any high schools in Pennsylvania, and if so, why?
Pennsylvania? No. What are you talking about? No. Over the All-Star break, no. I was on vacation and then went to Los Angeles.
I don't want to hear that.
You are increasingly annoying to me.
Will you open your eyes? I just don't know what to say. A dead clock is right twice a day. What are we going to praise him for next to the kind of damn cereal he eats for breakfast?
This is food made to sit down for. Slow down for. Put the phone away and use a knife and fork for. And with Panera Catering, it's food worth sharing. Panera, food as it should be.
Is that Marcy? Why does she look so great?
Oh, I just signed her up for the Fuel Rewards program, and she got instant gold status. Here, check it out.
Oh, wow.
Get gold status at Shell with the Fuel Rewards program. Download the app, join, and start saving 5 cents a gallon today.
Hi, Marcy.
Discover Tic Tac Gum. Great taste. Very refreshing. Long-lasting flavor.
New Tic Tac Gum. A playful, refreshing moment to share. Chew and play.
No, please, please, oh.
The running of the bold dogs? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much money Aaliyah saved by switching to Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
I want you to go really deep this time. Be strong, be tender. Amaze me.
Switch to Cricket and get a year of unlimited data for $40 a month, plus a free LG Fortune.
Brilliant. Let's see it again.
Smile, you're on Cricket.
As King Midas, I get special treatment. Here at Midas, you will too. And your oil change comes with a tire rotation as well. Ooh, that's good. I could put that on an airplane banner. Maybe. Nice work. Was that? Yeah, King Midas. Yeah.
At Midas, we're always a touch better, which is why our $19.99 oil change also includes a tire rotation. Book your appointment now at Midas.com.
reaction to it as a result.
Well, I certainly don't disagree with that distinction. I certainly understand it, but we also have to point out that, you know, we live in a day and age, man, like I've told you many, many times, there's nothing wrong with telling somebody to kick rocks and mind your damn business. And I think that that's the problem. I mean, if assuming that you're absolutely correct, and I certainly don't want to speculate. You got to remember, Max, I was the guy that was on national television when we was showing highlights of his son, I believe, in junior high school balling. And I said, can we pump the brakes, please? Let's stop talking about it. Get him off camera. We don't need to be seeing that. We don't need to be publicizing that. Let the kid be a kid. Let's not interfere with his life in any way because his father is a superstar. And I think that we have an obligation to be incredibly, incredibly protective of children. I totally agree with you on that. But also, as his dad, as their dad, I think LeBron James is perfectly within his right, if that were the case, to sit up there and look at reporters and say, mind your damn business. Even if I was doing something like that, what in God's name would make you think that I would want the world to know that for the sake of my kids? I think that you can humanize yourself and challenge other people to be human by willing to come out front and center and speak your mind on such an issue, if indeed that was the issue. And I think a lot of times an unwillingness to do so emboldens people to keep coming at you with questions. Like somebody like me, Max, I mean, people know most of the time I will not hesitate to cuss you out. I mean, I don't give a damn. I don't care. So they would be very, very guarded coming at me with such nonsense, just like they would be guarded coming at Bill Parcells or somebody else or Greg Popovich. You see how people approach him, and they approach him with a strong degree of trepidation and hesitancy because you know he will call you out, which is fine.
You're talking about having a better, a more optimal reaction to those kind of questions. I agree with you. That's a better response, in fact, if you feel that way, than LeBron's response. It cuts it short. Kick rocks. That's right. But just because you don't have the optimal response in that moment doesn't make you in the wrong. I still think what makes it wrong is the reporting that he's looking for schools, because that relates to his children in that area. Stephen A., when no one knew where LeBron was going to go and you were reporting that he was going to go to Miami first, I remember thinking, oh, Stephen A. is saying Miami. Damn, I wanted him to come to the Knicks. I guess he's going to Miami. But one of the pieces of information that came out was they had rented a whole bunch of things down in Miami, right? A bunch of cabanas or whatever it was. Obviously, something was happening regarding LeBron and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in Miami the next day based on, like, stuff they had rented out. And that's fine. That's fair game. If someone said, LeBron, I saw that you were looking for a home or a house or real estate, whatever, in Philadelphia, that's fair game to me. But reporting about where he's looking for schools, to me, crosses the line. And any athlete, even if his reaction is suboptimal, Stephen A., has the right to say, in one way or another, kick rocks.
I certainly totally agree. I'm certainly not interested in reporting on anybody's children. I can tell you that much. Yeah. By the way, I don't know why you're in love with this word optimal. I mean, you use optimal more than any human being that I've ever heard in my life. What's so special about that word, Max?
I use it because yes, your argument is oftentimes, I notice, we're talking about someone's reaction. And you'll say, hey, here's a better reaction than the one they had. And I'll say, Stephen A. made a good point. That would be the best possible reaction. The other person's reaction was meaning suboptimal.
I was asking about the definition of the word. That's all.
Okay. All right. Enough on that, Max. I am very impressed by your vocabulary, constantly learning. I think at the end of the day, though, we can all agree.
Got my thesaurus next to me, yeah.
LeBron enjoys the attention, but it doesn't appear that he's going to be playing in Philly. Up next, guys, the NFL's image has taken a big hit over the past few years, and concussions are a huge part of why. We'll tell you what the state of Illinois might do in reaction to this issue. It will affect your children. Stay tuned for that conversation.
If you're anything like me, your to-do list just keeps growing. It never stops. Which is why the online financing application at CarMax.com is so convenient. Get some of that finance stuff out of the way from wherever you are, at the doctor's office, karate practice, or my favorite, back at the doctor's office. Knowing before you go means more quality time sewing a costume for the school play that is not going to look anything like a frog. Just a little heads up, Mrs. Davis. Yay, kids!
Critics are raving about Annihilation. Entertainment Weekly calls it astonishing. And now it's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's not destroying. It's making something new.
Annihilation, rated R.
If you like spice and fish, there's this.
If you like fish but not spice, there's this. If you don't like fish or spice, you're really going to like everything else at Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats.
Introducing 5-Hour Tea. With caffeine from green tea leaves and only green tea leaves. It's energy for people with a more natural outlook. Tea. Caffeine from green tea leaves. Release your natural side from the makers of 5-Hour Energy.
Is your AC busted, computer crashed, appliance broken? Then you need ARW, American Residential Warranty.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty. Home appliance repairs and replacement can cause stress and cost you over $3,000 per year. But starting at less than $1 a day, ARW has home warranty plans that cover household appliances, systems, and electronics. Parts and labor included. When I needed ARW, they were there. My oven actually took a dive in the middle of making a big dinner for family and friends, picked up the phone, called ARW, they repaired it, dinner saved, that easy.
My air conditioning broke on a Sunday. It was so hot, I called ARW and they came out and fixed it right away.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, even pools and spas, and so much more. All you have to do is call or go to getahomeplan.com. Plus, ARW's partner with Assurion to offer protection for all your new and used household electronics for just one low price.
I dropped my laptop and ARW replaced it with a brand new one, and all I paid was a small service fee.
All plans are fully customizable and come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call now and get a home security system valued at $1,250 free with any plan. And you can trust ARW to be there when you need them. Just call ARW and a licensed technician will be dispatched to your home. All covered repairs are guaranteed.
My refrigerator broke, and not only did ARW repair it fast, they even sent me a reimbursement check for all the food that went bad.
So come on, relax. Stop worrying about unexpected breakdowns and costly repairs. Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
Call 1-800-665-7385. Again, that's 1-800-665-7385 or log on to getahomeplan.com today.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, you should know they're now using private collection agencies to track you down and take your money. Here's some advice. Don't wait. You need to resolve your tax problems right now. Today you have options, tomorrow you might not. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collection agencies from targeting you. They're also experts with the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. And instead of collection letters, you could get a letter like this. Here's a customer who owed over $25,000 and resolved it for only $1,600. Wouldn't you like a letter like this? Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results. Get a fresh start. Call Optima now for your free consultation.
For your free consultation, call 1-800-571-7292. That's 1-800-571-7292.
Let's get the Friday feeling going, people. NBA Friday doubleheader tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. The Raptors are in our nation's capital to take on the Wizards. Then the T-Wolves face the Jazz. Our coverage tips NBA Countdown at 7 on ESPN and the ESPN app. Meanwhile, the state of Illinois took a big step towards banning kids from playing tackle football yesterday. The House of Representatives will debate the Dave Duerson Act, which would prohibit any child under 12 from participating in organized tackle football. Now, Duerson's family has put its support behind this bill since the two-time Super Bowl champion took his own life in 2011. He left a note asking that his brain be studied by the researchers. This measure passed out of the Illinois House of Mental Health Committee on Thursday. Max, are you in agreement with this? No tackle football unless you're over 12?
No, that's what it would be the rule in my house for my children, but that's the point. We live in a free country, and while government regulation is important, even at times when it infringes upon individuals' choice, and there are many examples of that, including drug laws and seatbelt laws and gun regulation and all kinds of stuff. that makes a lot of sense. I do not agree with this regulation. Just because I wouldn't have my child play tackle football, period. I would discourage them at any age, though at a certain point, if I had a son and he wanted to play, I wouldn't prohibit it. I don't like the idea of the government telling parents that because there is entailed some physical risk in this activity, you are not allowed to make that choice about your own child. It is not certain that your child will suffer any kind of debilitating or long-term effects from playing tackle football at a certain age. I know, like PAL boxing, for example, Golden Gloves boxing. There are kids 8, 9 years old in the gym, having fights, all that. Should we not do that either? I suppose many parents say, yeah, I wouldn't want my kid doing that. That's fine. That's your kid. But not everyone feels the same way. And I don't think that the health risk is so clear and present in every case of every kid that plays tackle football that the government should be making that choice for parents.
Max, I'm a bit unsure of how I feel about this rule that the state of Illinois is trying to put in place. But I have no indecision or nor any hesitation in telling you I completely disagree with you of all people articulating the point that you just articulated. Because this is the same Max Kellerman, and don't interrupt, because I want you to respond to this. I'm going to come to you with this. You are the person, and I know it's a bit extreme with